Okay, thank you so much. So once again, a warm welcome to everyone here. I would like to welcome our guests as well as members to our special event for this evening. It is my pleasure to officially get this meet started. Please do note that this meeting is being recorded and will be used for future evaluation by members and for marketing purpose too. Before we formally go ahead and get the ball rolling, there are few house rules that I would like to set that would serve as a reminder for our members and as a guideline for our guests too. Please be on mute unless you are speaking. This will help us avoid distraction to the speakers. Second, we would love to have you on the camera. This encourages our members virtually to give their best performance. And if for any reason you have to step out, please make sure that you switch it off. Third, last but not the least, we are here to provide a warm, welcome, and nurturing environment to all the members and guests to ace or work on their speaking and leadership skill. And with that in mind, we request all our speakers to refrain from speaking on controversial topics like sex, religion, and politics. Those are the few basic rules. Now that it is clear, it's time to get the ball rolling. And with that, I would like to invite our president, Madam Catherine, to go ahead and start off with her presidential address and get this meeting started. Thank you, and back over to Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Catherine.
Thank you so much, Shihas. A warm welcome to you, our Toastmasters and guests. As is Vice President membership, and for you, our guests, if you feel this is the club to belong, as it is indeed the club to belong, please reach out to Shihas and he will help you to navigate how to come through our doors. We have our doors that are open today, but we have our inner court doors where you get to get intimate with each of us and we learn and grow together. So Shihas will be the man to welcome you. Please feel free to DM or to send him a private chat message in the group and he will be able to reach out to you. You are most welcome, our guests. Thank you for taking a moment to come and attend this Speakathon. Today we have a Speakathon and we will be treated to wonderful speeches by our very own homegrown members. You will be privileged to hear their speeches or their wonderful elocutions of the speeches. I can't wait. I feel like getting up on my seat. I just can't wait to hear this. But before I do that, I'd just like to get some club details to us. To our club officers, I'm going to ask you kindly at the end of this meeting to stay for 5 minutes. It will be a very brief 5 minutes of the meeting. And in this meeting, I will also be able at the end to call us to an addendum on one of our votings where we will nominate 2 members onto our club officers role. I will need 2 members to be invited to join our club officers role. And in this meeting, we will have an addendum to our details, our meeting. There's just a few announcements I'd like to make to encourage you members to attend the Toastmasters Leadership Institute training. It is available to any of us. You can go on the website. If you haven't found it, please reach out to Shihas or any of us. Guillermo, we can send you that email and you log in and you get that training. There is also another training available to us as members of the club. This training helps us to format and create our speeches in an easy way. If you are one of those people who would like to improve how fast and how well you arrange your speeches, this training is available for each and every one of us. And I would also like to mention something about the most concluded conference, our Toastmasters concluded conference. I would like to send out shouts to our winners for the International Speech Contest. Some of you who haven't had a chance to meet them, please look out for these on the group chats or even on our Toastmasters website or even on LinkedIn. if you are a member of LinkedIn, you should be able to access these speeches. From these speeches, they're special. They're opportunities for us to learn how to grow our journey as Toastmaster speakers and leaders. And now I would like to not waste too much time, but invite us to our meeting of the day. The theme of this meeting today is Speak and Soar. The theme of this meeting today is Speak and Soar. Speaking and soaring is all about you taking a chance on yourself and opening up your heart to sharing with us your capacity to speak about something that is pertinent to you or something that you're growing into. And all of the speakers today will be telling us something about themselves or something about what they're passionate about. Before I invite our speakers to the podium, we have only 4 speakers and 4 evaluators. I do have a tag team. And on my tag team, I would like to invite our grammarian of the day, Dr. Stephen Bowie, to introduce the word of the day and tell us how he will run the meeting. Welcome, Stephen.
Hello, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster, and guests. As a grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to your use of the language, and I'll take special notes on any misuse of the English language, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, or thoughts. As a grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. And today, the word of the day is elocution. Elocution means the skill of clear and expressive speech, especially of distinct pronunciation and articulation. A use of the word of the day, I gave 2 examples on the chat already. One is lessons in singing and execution. A usage of the word elocution in a sentence. Our speaker today spoke with elocution, and Catherine certainly did that, and she did use the word of the day today. And I would like to encourage everyone, all the speakers and the evaluators, to use the word of the day for today. And at the end, I will also give the word of the day report and grammatical usage report when called upon at the end of the meeting. Thank you. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Dr. Stephen Bowie. I would also like to introduce our timer of the day, our invaluable member of the club, Willamore James. Please introduce your role to the club.
Good morning, good evening. I am the timer. Timing is an important part of speeches, since a speech that is not too long or too short is more likely to capture people's attention. We have an exciting Speakathon meeting today. Since we have a few icebreakers, I will go over the timings. Regular speeches go from 5 to 7 minutes, while icebreaker speeches go from 4 to 6 minutes. As always, when we complete the minimum speaking time, I will display a green background. When we are close to running out of time, I will display a yellow background. And when we have run out of time, I will display a red background. If you are on stage and you run out of time, no need to stop speaking. Just start finishing your points and wrapping up. At the end of this meeting, I will let everyone know what their time was. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Willamore James, for that expression of your role. I'd like to find out, please help me, correct me if we have an counter today. Do we? No, we don't.
Catherine, good morning, Catherine.
Morning,
Good evening.
Yes.
Yes, actually, I will be playing the counter. I was told by Mary to play for June.
Please go ahead and give us your role. Thank you, Rajat.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so as my fellow tag team player were looking after correctness and conciseness of the speeches, I will be looking after the clarity of the speeches, or in other word, I should say, elocution of the speeches. So when many a time we try to use crutch words in our speeches mm, like or long pauses. So I will be looking after these aspects of the speeches and will present my report when called upon. Thank you very much. Over to you, President Khatri and President.
Thank you so much, Rajat Gupta. Thank you for giving us your role as the accountant. Now, Toastmasters and guests, without further ado, I would like to invite our speakers, our Speakathon speakers today. Our very first speaker is John Curtis. He is a new member of Toastmasters for Professionals. John Curtis will be giving his icebreaker speech. The title of his speech is Serendipity and My Career Path. Serendipity and My Career Path. John Curtis. John Curtis, Serendipity and My Career Path. Let's give a
Thank you,
round of applause.
Madam. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The reason I joined Toastmasters is because I want to feel more at ease when speaking in front of an audience. This is something I've always struggled with. And I hope by sharing something about myself today, I'm able to connect with you and find my comfort zone with public speaking. Today, I'd like to talk about how serendipity had a positive influence on my career path. What is serendipity? Well, serendipity can be defined as the fortuitous intermeshing of events. Perhaps the most fortuitous event in my life is when my mother and father conceived me. Hello, everybody. My name is John Curtis. My last name has been Americanized in pronunciation. It's actually spelled Kertesz. It's Hungarian. It means gardener. My mother's Guatemalan. My father's Hungarian. That makes me a Guatagarian or a Hungamalan. Take your pick. I was born in Los Angeles, raised in different parts of Southern California, and eventually moved to San Diego, where I went to San Diego State University. After graduating from state, I had this strong desire to travel. So I went to Europe for about a year. And when I returned, I discovered getting a job with just a bachelor's from state wasn't going to be easy. So I convinced myself I needed to take more time off. For the next few years, I was beach bum, surfing, partying, traveling the coast. Life was good. Then I found myself in my late 20s, living in a little studio apartment, struggling to make ends meet, and thinking maybe I took a little too much time off. I knew that in order to get out of the hole I was in, I need to get a better paying job. So to me, that meant going back to school. While I was in graduate school, I got accepted into an internship, and the gentleman in charge of the program recommended me to a former intern of his who was working up in the Bay Area, working for an environmental consulting firm that was looking to hire. I interviewed and I got the job. I felt that the chain of events that led to that opportunity, a career path with a future, was serendipitous. I also learned never take time for granted again. So I moved up to Oakland and started working, and eventually I was solicited by another company with a better job offer. So I took them up on it, and they relocated me out to Atlanta, Georgia. Big difference from San Diego. While I was in Georgia, the second Gulf War broke out in Iraq. It just so happened that the office I was working for in Atlanta got sole source a logistics support contract for munitions clearance in Iraq. Nobody in the office wanted to touch this thing. But I looked at it not only as an opportunity, but as an adventure. So I went to the program director's office and I volunteered my services to work in Iraq. He took me up on it and away I went. I believe this was the second time serendipity allowed me to capitalize professionally. I can now combine work and travel and earn a good living. I also learned the importance of being at the right place at the right time. After 4 years in Iraq, I returned to the United States, where I found myself working in the Mojave Desert in Southern California. I thought to myself, this was about as good a time as any to make San Diego my home base again. So I bought a home in San Diego. I also ended up with a hefty mortgage, and now I was really wanting to go back to work overseas. It just so happened that while I was in Iraq, I became friends with the HR manager who'd since left the company, but we kept in touch. One day he contacted me and said, "Hey, John, you want to come work in Saudi Arabia?" I said, "Yes." So he put me in touch with his friend, who was a safety manager on this large-scale construction project in Saudi. Although I didn't have the job qualifications, I interviewed. And during the interview, the safety manager and myself discovered we had a lot in common from our prior work in Iraq. So we hit it off, and I got the job. That confirmed to me without a doubt, it's not what you know, but who you know that most help you climb the ladder to professional success. Working in Saudi Arabia was my genesis to my career path in environmental health and safety in the oil and gas construction industry. Since working in Saudi, I've had the opportunity to work in multiple countries, travel around the world, and best of all, meet my beautiful wife while working abroad. To quote Elizabeth Berg, sometimes serendipity is just intention unmasked. In closing, I've discovered that serendipity is more than just a measure of luck, being at the right place at the right time, meeting or knowing the right people, but it's also how you apply yourself, never taking time for granted, and persevering. Serendipity has also shaped my viewpoint at Toastmasters, where I see this as a fortuitous opportunity to allow me to better express myself and be the speaker I've always wanted to be, and to speak with elocution. Thank you.
You put a smile on our faces when you finished with the word of the day. But mostly I enjoyed understanding that you are Hungarian or
Sonia
Guatemala.
Mullen.
Very different. Thank you so much for giving us your speech. I will not waste so much time. I would like to invite the second speaker of the day. And our second speaker is Kartik Kadavala. Kartik, can you see me? Are you there, Kartik? Kartik, are you there?
Yes, yes, I'm here.
Yes, thank you. The title of Kartik's speech is The Importance of Social Media in Business. Importance of Social Media in Business, Kartik Kadavala. Kartik Kadavala, Importance of Social Media in Business.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters and educated guests. I'm Kartik Kadola, and it's my honor to stand before you today to deliver this speech on the topic Importance of Social Media in today's world, especially for business owners. I strongly believe we all conquer in today's world. Social media has become an integral part in our daily life for majority of people. Personally, I feel a sense of responsibility to share the significance of this tool that impacting us. The main aspect I wish to discuss here is the role of social media in business or someone's personal growth. Let me share you a good example here for a better understanding. Assume there are two persons, person A and person B. In delivery wise, the content they deliver same level. The person A and person B teaches creativity workshop. Person A maintain his digital media platforms, maintaining social media website, maintaining landing pages. Is very active in interacting with his audience through social media, posting all his achievements and everything. Person B does none of this. Let me share in your comments Whom will you choose to prefer if you would like to work with? Whom would you like to work on to learn this creativity? Please let me know in comments. Person A or person B? Right? As we all know, we all choose person A, right? This is the function of social media. It acts as a bridge and allow audience to connect with their businesses, our business with their audience. The key benefit of social media offers brands to engage directly with the target audience through polls, contests, campaigns, and other interactive features. Moreover, for brands, the impact of social media extend to create the brand identity easy to recognize and recall to the target audience. This enables conversion in interest for a particular person who is seeking that product to the person who is ready to provide meet at the same point. Let me share an example here. We all had experience in our life that we search for example, we are searching for Nike shoes in Google or Amazon or YouTube, somewhere, doesn't matter the platform. As soon as we switch our platform, what happens? Like for if you're switching to some other stream, if you're willing to see some other video apart from this Nike shoes, right? We all pop this ads, Nike ads start popping up, right? Is this is social media is how powerful. It plays a key role in our day-to-day life to understand what we are exactly looking forward, what we are willing to purchase, not only for the customers, for also business owners and businesses also, to exactly identify who are the target people unnecessary without unnecessarily spending their money on showing to the people who are not willing to buy for it. In conclusion, we all can see that popular brands spend a lot of tons of money to advertise themselves on digital media platforms. We all had this experience, though there doesn't matter how popular they are, like KFC, Nike, soft drinks, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, how famous they are. They keep on spending tons of money to advertise just to make their recalling state ability in their audience. As someone said, social media is a metaphor that amplifies the voice of individual and reshapes landscape communication, connection, and influence modern world. This quote really resonates with me. Does it resonate with you? Please share on your comments. Thank you, Toastmasters. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Kartik, for giving us your speech. It has been really special for you to engage us on the role that social media is playing in business. I appreciate your speech. And now I'd like, without wasting more time, to invite our next speaker. Speaker Hector, can you confirm that you can see me, Hector Aguar?
Yes, Catherine.
Hector, unfortunately, I haven't yet received your details, but let me just give your speech title. It is Learnings from My Leadership Journey. Am I right, Hector?
Yes, Catherine.
Hector Agual, Learnings from My Leadership Journey. Learnings from My Leadership Journey, Hector Agual.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, dear Toastmasters. I, Ekta Agarwal, would like to talk to you about learnings from my leadership journey, which is a speech from dynamic leadership level to understanding leadership styles. Leadership, in essence, is the ability to guide, inspire, and influence others towards common goals. I'm sure all of us have experienced leadership in multiple forms and understand that Each leader is different from the other. Their leadership cannot be taught merely through books, and it needs to be nurtured through experiences. Leaders learn from their experiences, their trials, triumphs, and failures, and the lessons from them embellishes their leadership over time. Leadership is something that can be compared to an artist's palette of colors because it has multiple dimensions, just like any rainbow. Today, I would like to talk about three different aspects of leadership which I have understood through my leadership journey of 14 years in the corporate world, where I have worked in multiple roles as an individual contributor, being a team member, being a leader of smaller teams, and then leading teams of teams. The first aspect, as I joined or started my leadership journey, was that leadership is very dynamic. Each individual situation and employee is very different, and you need to tailor your leadership style to the given situation. I had a team member who was very well experienced and self-driven. In that case, I had to use the pace setting style so that that resource could fly and deliver results for the team's benefit. In another instance, I had team members who were merely very new into their journey, so I had to coach and mentor them so that we could achieve our goals together. There were there are instances where I had to give direct feedback because that is how the team member would flourish. And there were instances where I had to sandwich the feedback so that the team member was able to understand and deliver to its maximum uh, benefit. So I would say, as, as an aspect one, that leadership is very dynamic, where you need to tailor to the requirement, just like a fitted suit that a tailor designs for you. And as a second aspect, what is most important is a strategic direction to the team. It's very important that you communicate and give a very smart goal for the team, which is specific, measurable, achievable, reliable, and time based. It's very important that the team understands the collective goal that we are trying to achieve and is aspired to work towards it. It is also important that you keep measuring the team's success and celebrating the goals along the way. It, as I started off, I mean, I would not give as much importance to communicating the team goals. That would not have brought the team morale as much, but when given suggestions by my team manager, I was able to set up the strategic goals, and then I saw the difference that the team was more motivated towards achieving the goals when it was communicated over and over again. The third aspect of leadership that I would want to call out is culture building. It's very important that you set the culture for the team, where it is important that you understand the team members not only from their skills, you understand their strengths, their learnings, their development areas, their personal aspirations, and what inspires them. Understanding all of this will help you build personal connect with the team members, and you will be able to reach out to them, help them grow and develop in their personal journey. I would I recall one example where one of my leaders went over and above his duty and helped me coach through a mock interview when I was aspiring for a role in a very different team. It was not on him to take any time out for something where he was losing a resource from his team, but to help me grow, he spent that time and gave me all possible help so that I could achieve the next role that I was for my personal benefit. Today, 12 years after that incident, also I kind of live that happiness and joy and try and see how I can let my team members benefit from whatever I can in whatever possible way. So, to summarize, I would like to say that leadership is a journey where you learn and grow from each and every experience. And it's very important that we all communicate the goals along with ensuring that we build the right culture for our team. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Ekta Agarwal, for that exposition on your learnings on leadership. One of the things I'm taking away with me is culture bending. I probably have heard this for the first time, the term culture bending, but how you have used it has really informed us on how to use our learnings in leadership. So thank you. Thank you so much. Our last speaker is none other than Brunda Shashikmar. Brunda's title is Pizza Inspired Leadership. Pizza Inspired Leadership, Brunda Shashikmar. Brunda Shashikmar, Pizza Inspired Leadership.
Greetings, everyone, and thank you, TMOD Catherine. So my topic today is pizza-inspired leadership lessons. I am a cooking expert, or I enjoy cooking and I enjoy leadership. And so here's a combination. What can you think about, but combine the two. And that's where this idea came about, comparing leadership with a delectable pizza. So let's embark on a journey into leadership using an analogy that resonates with all of us, the world of pizza. And just like like a delicious pizza, leadership is also multifaceted. It has various dimensions, various flavors, and I'm going to talk about primarily three flavors of leadership, namely autocratic, affiliative, and authentic, all bound by a secret dough that creates a perfect leadership recipe. So let's dive into this delicious metaphor and uncover what a leadership journey could be and how delightful it could be. The first pizza, the autocratic pizza, the standard recipe. You can make out I might not be a fan of this recipe. Imagine a pizza which is meticulously crafted, but it is cookie cutter recipe. So all the pizzas look the same. There is no variety. There is no curiosity. There is nothing new in that pizza. All of them look alike. That's the autocratic style of leadership. It is a top-down approach where the leader decides and the team members follow. I have actually worked in that kind of a setting. And I was a team member working with an autocratic leader. And believe me, I felt like I am in a manufacturing unit on an assembly line, just working morning, afternoon, evening, morning, afternoon, evening, same kind of work, nothing creative. And it stifles your creativity and it makes you feel robotic. However, there is a benefit to this kind of leadership too. In situations which are time sensitive, this leadership style could be effective. Also, this leadership style shines when there is time for execution with precise quality and accuracy. For instance, in fire departments, a warehouse, or a hospital operation theater, These are the situations where you require an autocratic leadership. The next one is affiliative leadership. I call it the affiliative pizza or the custom blend. Now visualize a pizza joint where customers are invited to make their own pies, decide the kind of crust you want, decide the toppings you want, and enjoy the diversity of the various flavors that you can create. That, my friends, is the affiliative leadership. Affiliative leadership invites collaboration, unity, and open communication. This style is used in high stress environments or where there are extended working hours, for example, consulting firms, and also in corporates where the idea is people first. This style is also useful in building or merging new teams where teams are getting to know each other, where they are learning and building on relationships, and also in situations of conflict resolution. The next style is the authentic pizza. I call it the recipe of trust. Now imagine this pizza, a masterpiece that delights and nourishes the soul. The authentic leadership mirrors this value by inviting psychological safety. I'm not sure how many of us have heard this concept of psychological safety, but it is an environment where authentic leaders invite openness and share ideas without judgment or fear. For example, if you want to speak up, you will not be reprimanded or you will not have the fear of speaking up. So that is the authentic leadership and psychological safety. And just like a well-balanced pizza, psychological safety can bring out the best in a team. It is akin to adding the perfect ingredients to elevate the flavor of the pizza. And now, the recipe for the common dough or the crust of the pizza, akin to the dough of leadership. In all leadership styles, be it autocratic, affiliative, authentic, or any other styles of leadership, a common dough or a common thread exists. And that, my friends, is the authenticity, values, ethics, integrity, and trust. Similar to pizza dough, giving structure to the pizza, and it is the base which holds the pizza. These elements of authenticity, trust, ethics, value, and integrity shape our leadership style, adding depth and flavor to our interactions. So, my friends, it's your turn now to craft your perfect pizza. What toppings would you choose for your leadership pizza to create an enjoyable experience for you and those around you? Our choices may impact the journey of our teams. Let's embrace affiliative collaboration and authentic psychological safety. Blend in the vital dough of integrity and trust, creating a leadership experience that leaves everyone craving for more. Thank you, and may your leadership journey be as unforgettable as a perfect slice of pizza. Thank you, and back to you.
You hungry like I am? Oh my goodness, that was wonderful. Thank you so much, Brunda. Thank you for making us hungry for leadership, but for using the analogy of pizza and such a beautiful elocution. I have enjoyed your speech, and I hope that all of you Toastmasters and guests have enjoyed this menu of our Speakathon. Can I ask you kindly, Toastmasters and guests, take a moment to give feedback to each of our speakers, and I will mention their names so that you can reach out to them in their inboxes and remind them of how their speech has impacted you. I will mention them. John Cartes was our first speaker with his icebreaker, and his speech was Serendipity and My Career Path. Our second speaker was Kartik Kadabala, and his speech was Importance of Social Media in Business. Our third speaker was Ekta Agarwal, and if I can remember, her speech title was, please remind me. I think I haven't written it down.
My
yet.
leadership journey, Catherine.
Earnings from my leadership journey. Thank you so much, Ekta. Our fourth speaker was Brunda Shashikumar. Please reach out to Brunda. Her title was Pizza Inspired Leadership. These are wonderful, wonderful speeches that we have had. To you, our guests, I'm reminding you, you will get an opportunity to say hello to us, and we would like to get to know each of you. But before we do, I would like to take a moment and invite our evaluators or the speakers. I am an evaluator. And because I am an evaluator, I will be the last evaluator to speak. So I'm going to kindly invite the evaluator for Kartik Kadabala. The evaluator for Kartik will be Guillermo James. Is that right? No, will be our Toastmaster, Mary Thomas. Toastmaster Mary Thomas evaluating Kartik Kadabala with a speech title, The Importance of Social Media in Business. Please welcome Toastmaster Mary Thomas. Dr. Mary Thomas, are you there?
She's in the room, but maybe she stepped away from her computer.
Okay, I could give Dr. Mary Thomas some more time. May I kindly invite Guillermo James? Are you ready? Thank you so much. Please welcome Guillermo James, the evaluator for Ekta Agarwal, whose title was My Leadership Learning Journey. Thank you.
Hi, Itka. It's going to be a short evaluation because I really loved your speech. The topic was my leadership journey, and I thought it was very fitting for a Toastmasters topic. That's why we are here, to become leaders and to speak better. My main piece of advice would be to speak with a little more confidence, a little more determination. That way people believe more into what you are saying, which is a big responsibility, but I think it can be a very useful skill to acquire. And yes, as I've said, we all have leadership topics, leadership experiences, and that is it. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Guillermo.
Thank you so much, Guillermo, for that evaluation. I would also like to invite our evaluator for Brunda Shashikumar, Toastmaster Shiha Spaka, has offered to evaluate Toastmaster Brunda's speech. Her speech title was Pizza Inspired Leadership. Thank you, Toastmaster Shiha.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters guest and my dear Brinda. It was really nice to hear from you. And as we were going through the art of, or as we were going through your leadership journey styles, we also came to learn how to order a pizza if I go to a pizza restaurant. You basically took out each of these different types of pizza, brought in different ingredients in form of leadership style, be it autocratic, be it authentic, integrity, or democratic, or affiliation, or the other styles. And you rightly said that it is a little bit difficult to have one sort of leadership style when you interact with a multiple geographical people or people from different backgrounds. And that's where your leadership traits on how you deal with those people or people from a different background or with different skill set, how you bring them as a team together and present a well well cooked pizza with the right ingredient goes out so that it tastes better, and at the end of the day we deliver as a team. So that's what I really liked. I would also I do have some recommendation and commendation that will go hand in hand. Few things that I really would like to see more is like you can add little bit more vocal variety. Your sound was definitely nice, but if we can give some examples, like say for example how you coach someone, a new person, and if you can add little bit of vocal variety, right, that helps us add that extra salt, or the we add sometimes some base parsley leaves over your pizza, right? Based on individual styles. So you can add that, and will definitely add that extra zing, and it will pop out. Apart from that, you basically explained the journey of a leader very well. Okay, and what I would like to call one more thing was you talked about the psychological safety net. This is very important in these days. We are hearing a lot, and it's really nice to see that you added that, and it is more it is basically helping us remind ourselves as we work on our leadership style, how we can imbibe those psychological safety tips in our journey, and we can proceed further. With that being said, since you had some time left, you could have added more, little bit more to your speech by some examples, or some learnings that you had from your past, and that would have basically helped us connect with the speech better, and we could have taken more out of it today. Apart from that, the speech was very nice. It was basically presented very well. We had, like as I said, like you had different crust out there, so each crust had a different taste, so it is very difficult to have a single pizza with multiple tastes. In the same way, we got to see Vrinda across different lifestyle whenever we try to take a different slice. With that, I hope all the very best to you, and I look forward to your next speech, which I would believe it will be on your communication style. And we look forward to have you back and hear more from you. Thank you so much for taking time and sharing us with your sharing your leadership state with this group, and I hand it over back to a Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Shihas.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shihak, for that evaluation of Brunda. I'm reminding you, speakers, it is your duty to follow up your evaluation resource with your evaluator. So I'm reminding you to make sure that you follow up. So if you don't have your evaluator's details, please make sure you reach out to them to be able to receive it. Our next evaluator is none other than our Toastmaster, Dr. Mary Thomas, to evaluate Kartik Kadaval. Dr. Mary Thomas, welcome.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, President Catherine. Good to see all of you, especially my speaker, Toastmaster Kartik Kadavala. At the outset, I would like to congratulate Toastmaster Kartik on two accounts. One is, this is technically his first speech. Even though in the Toastmasters Pathways Manual, it says icebreaker is the first speech, that is just an introduction of self to the club members. But when it comes to the crux of it, of having to deliver a speech, this is indeed the first speech. Speak with purpose. So congratulations on that one. Number two, he took the initiative to connect with me, his evaluator, to ensure that his speech was up to mark, at least the content of it. I didn't see his practice, but the content, I was fully aware of his content. I congratulate you, Kartik, because you have done what is correct. Let me, for the benefit of guests and new Toastmasters, let me just quickly say that when you start preparing your speech, one of the things you should do is get your mentor. After that, speak to your evaluator, practice, show the content, and then come to the club and actually deliver your speech. This is the actual protocol. Many do not do this, doesn't matter, but I would like to promote this because this is very important. Now let's get down to the speech proper. I, as a person, as a speaker, as a public speaker, I'm very particular about title. The title is your first opportunity to give a lasting impression. It is your first opportunity to draw in, to pull in your audience, to be interested, to listen to what you have to say. So let me tell you, Toastmaster Karthik, you've got a big tick on that one. Your title is appropriate for the audience. We are all professionals here. No matter how social media is a part of our life. So your title is brilliant. Importance of social media in business. Well, I may not be in business. I'm a doctor, but I'm still busyness. I'm in busyness. Number 2, I always look at stage presence. A speaker must have stage presence. If a speaker is standing there or sitting down, slouched on his seat, I'm not so sure about what message he can project to the audience. Remember, when you stand up, now Karthik was standing, so he's able to project. He stands in authority. He stands in power to give and relay the message to the audience who's spending time to listen to that speech. So always remember stage presence. At this point, we are in a Zoom meeting, so I'm not really going to comment about attire. Attire is very important. So I shall not go into that direction. Content. Your content was relevant to the audience, particularly those who are in business or enterprise. Let me give you a few suggestions on how you can power up your elocution. Grammarian, I used your word. Voice projection. This would be, I'm not going to comment too much on that because this is your first speech. As I said, technically, this is your first speech. You may want to check on your mic. I don't know whether it's your mic or my mic, but I couldn't really catch some critical words that you were saying. I'm really not sure what it is, but I will get back to you when we do our own evaluation, our private evaluation. The other one could be, again, I don't want to say too much because this is your first speech. I can assure you that as you go along, let's say, for example, you do about another 4 or 5 speeches where you are going to elicit vocal variety, body language, you're going to be a good speaker, that's for sure. So I'm not going to go into details on that one. And I congratulate you, Karthik, on your you mentioned that you met me in Speechcraft. I congratulate you on moving forward after the Speechcraft. Brilliant work there. Congratulations again, and looking forward to evaluating you again. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Mary Thomas. That was amazing. I hope Toastmasters and guests, you feel as bright as I feel right now. I feel like bursting. I haven't had such a wonderful experience listening to fantastic speeches like we have and beautiful evaluations. So let me take a moment to introduce myself as the evaluator for John Curtis. John Curtis, can you see me? Where are you? Congratulations. Congratulations on taking your first speech, your icebreaker. Toastmasters and guests, it is our custom when a speaker takes the icebreaker, we welcome them or we applaud them with a hand clap. And I'm going to ask you to do that. If it was a meeting, I would ask you to stand. But I'm going to ask you to applaud John for taking this icebreaker. It was wonderful. It was wonderful for us to get to know you. As soon as you opened your mouth, you captivated us by introducing your title. You told us what serendipity is. That was such a hook. But most so, you told us where you came from, that you didn't originate from the trees or some forest. You told us who your parents are. You brought humor in how you were Guatemalan or Hungarian. I enjoyed these Hungamalan or Guatemala. There were just beautiful ways of bringing out your childhood growing up in the US. And then you told us about your dreams and your aspirations of what you wanted to be growing up. And then you marched that will into the career path of what you chose. Having a desire to travel, but having a desire to work and make money and apply yourself to leadership and growth. And then you showed us the places where you have worked. You showed us that you are such a resilient person living in diverse places, coming from Iraq, back to the US. You know, people prepare us to leave a country. Nobody prepares us to go back to a country. You showed us what that did to you and then how you prepared yourself to be open to a new opportunity. You described how just a relationship you had with somebody in your past work employment has led to the current employment. These are such life lessons that we feel you brought us into your world. You expanded what that meant for you, and you took us back to the grounding of what serendipity does to a person, what serendipity does to a career, what serendipity does to a life like yours that moves from different diverse situations and places and countries. Having worked in some of the most dangerous countries in the world, I feel like Iraq is one of the hard places. And I speak from a place of experience, but how you brought out this in your speech is wonderful. You showed us what serendipity is and how it has shaped you in your career, in your journey as a Toastmaster. You called us to action. You asked us a few questions. What would we like to do with ourselves? I thoroughly enjoyed your speech. Your storytelling technique is flawless. I enjoyed listening. There was no moment, there was no dull moment. What would I encourage you to do? Because you were funny, because you're a wonderful storyteller, I would encourage you, John, to take it to a notch higher. Use some props if you'd like. Use some images if you like in the next speeches. You've got such a vast experience. Use something that reminds us of what it is like to live in Iraq and what it is like to live in the US. You described how you bought a house, got a mortgage. You know, the lifestyles are different. You could have taken us into what peers did you have in Iraq? What does that mean? Thinking about maybe sleeping and maybe there might be a gunshot someday. I don't know. Or having to learn Arabic, or having to speak the Iraq language. I don't know what language they speak in Iraq, but I met some Iraqis, beautiful people. The food changes, a few things that you would have brought us to expand our connection with how this resilience has shaped you. Other than that, I think your speech for an icebreaker was an advanced speech. I would like to recommend you and to commend you to take a no-stop moment. Sign yourself up for as many opportunities as you can. Toastmasters and guests, is it any wonder that this is one of the speakers for our next speech contest? Welcome to the club, wonderful speaker, John Cortez. Thank you so much. That was a wonderful speech. Congratulations.
Thank you for the kind words, Catherine. Very much appreciated.
Welcome. I'd like to take a moment to ask you, Toastmasters and guests, please give a comment to any of our evaluators on how you think their evaluation was. We're not on spot, but it's encouraging us. Take a moment to go into their inboxes, and our evaluators were Toastmaster Guillermo James, Toastmaster Shehas, Toastmaster Dr. Mary Thomas, and myself. Those were our evaluators for the day. Before I invite our guests to speak to us, I'm going to ask our tag team to give us their reports, starting with the timer, the counter, and the grammarian in respect. For our timer, Guillermo James, please take to the podium. Thank you.
Thank you for this meeting, everyone. I had a great time. These are the speech times. John's speech was 5 minutes and 50 seconds. Karkik, 4 minutes and 45 seconds. Ekta, 6 minutes and 50 seconds. And Brunda, also 6 minutes and 50 seconds. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Guillermo. Rajat, please go ahead and give us your account.
Okay. Can I share my screen?
Rajat, you're muted. Please give us.
Yes, yes. I was saying that can I be allowed to share my screen if it is possible?
Yes, please. William, are you able to do that? Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Oh, yes. Thank you. So, are you able to see my screen now? Yes. So,
Yes.
I made my report according to the rules as goes along with the meeting. So there was no filler I found as a sergeant at arms for Toastmaster CRs, no filler for Toastmaster Catherine as a presiding officer, and moving forward as a Toastmaster of the day, there was also no filler for Toastmaster Catherine. And moving forward to our timer and grammarian, both I was not able to find any filler words as such in both of their speeches or at the time when they were speaking. And move forward to speaker one, Toastmaster John, again flawless. So basically, following Toastmaster Catherine evaluation, so flawless speech. Toastmaster Karthik was also flawless. I did not find anything to note down as such. Was very gently speaking and very the space that he was using was very good to basically avoid any kind of filler words. That kind of pace is basically keeps our mind free and keeps our neurons thinking so that we don't struggle to basically pick up the thoughts. With that, if we talk about Toastmaster Guillermo, so I find that when he was evaluating Toastmaster speeches, two and one and if we talk about Toastmaster Ekta, there was a few crutch words like and there was two short pauses that she used. I feel that with little practice, this can be avoided. And talk about speaker for Toast, evaluator for Toastmaster CRs. There was on two like and Toastmaster Branda, one R and one you know. And there was instant when he repeated basically he used bunch of qualities then she used bunch of qualities then she again repeated these bunch of qualities. So basically when we are using long sentences and again repeat the sentences, so it does not come out as good thing in a speech. Apart from this, I think there was nothing else to note. Just one thing in Toastmaster Cashin evaluation, she repeated your multiple times, so that can be basically think of to avoid. With that, I would conclude my speech. Over to you, Mr. Tessin.
Thank you so much, Rajat Gupta. Indeed, in tandem with the Toastmasters for Professionals, your report was very professional. Thank you for taking us to the next level, a notch higher. Thank you, and we will improve our speaking. You have brought value to the club meeting. Thank you so much. I welcome our grammarian, Stephen Bowie. Dr. Stephen Bowie, please take the.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster President Catherine. What an exciting meeting we had today. Our speaker truly spoke with elocution. It was my highlight of the day to hear the speaker, their thoughts, their words, and the quote they're saying. And it really expanded our horizon. As professional, we are learning a lot here. We're not only learning how to speak better, but we're also learning how to be better professional. These are the words that I picked up that really help us as professionals, and beautiful use of the word. For example, Madam President Catherine used the word resilient, life lesson, flawless. These are characteristics of a great leader or professional. Other usage, John Cortez, you use the word serendipity, and you explain the word to the detail, including a story behind it. I loved it. I really know the context of the word. ECTA, dynamic leadership, or the leadership style. The sandwich feedback, SMART goal. I mean, I use that in my organization, in my for my team as well. So these are very varieties of tips that we can use on our own daily life. Varunda, she explained different type of leadership in a way that I can easily understand, as such as comparing autocratic leadership makes you feel like an assembly line. An affiliative leadership makes you feel like you want to collaborate. An authentic leadership, which is related to that psychological safety. That's a nice use of word that I can clearly understand what that leadership is about. I like her use of the word integrity. These are characteristics of a professional. Some of the suggestion for a better use. Now, I know Kartik, this was your first speech. I want to commend you for being brave out there and giving your speech. And similar to you, not too long ago, about 2 years ago, when I started my journey with Toastmasters International, I made some of the similar mistakes. For example, when we are nervous, we tend to skip words. For example, you mentioned about let me know in comments. I think what you mean is let me know in the comments or the comments section. You skip another word like, for example, on contrary. I think what you mean, or you kind of blend it into what you mean to be on the contrary. So I tend to do that as well. Swallow words when I get a little nervous. I tend to speed up. So one of the techniques that I recommend, or I try to do myself as well, is to slow down and to speak eloquently. With elocution. Okay. What else? What else have I learned? Another recommendation for the evaluator, she has, I believe you mentioned, I like to call one more thing. I think what you mean by that is either I like to call out one more thing, or call one more thing out, or recall. So it's a little bit confusing when you mention, something like that for the listener. So overall, I really enjoyed our meeting, and most people have proper use of grammar on our on their speech and their evaluation. So back to you, Madam President Catherine.
Thank you so much, Dr. Stephen Bowie. Wow, what a beautiful day this was. I hope you feel as energized as I do feel. And with this Toastmasters and guests, I would like to thank you for giving us the opportunity to serve you and to be a part of this meeting.